We talked the other day. We got a verdict in the Sonya Massey case. Should have been first-degree murder, but the jury chose second-degree murder. Now the question is whether he gets sentenced 4 to 20 years in prison, will the judge do probation or whatever. And so when we talk about justice, justice is not the indictment. Right. Justice is not the conviction. Justice is also the sentencing.
Amen. And Roland, we have to remember this video told the whole story.
Yep.
I mean, oftentimes we talk about mens rea, what's the mindset of the person when they commit the crime. Well, we don't have to speculate here, Roland Martin. You heard what his intent was on the video.
Yeah.
He said, I will shoot you in your effing face. You see him come around the counter.
Yep.
I believe, Roland, because she was so short.
Right.
And she only weighed 111 pounds. So he said, I will shoot you in your face because they're taught to shoot center mass, but the counter was blocking center mass.
Yep.
He stepped around the counter, shot her in her face, and then, Roland Martin, he said that he wasn't even going to use his medical bag for the crazy bee. If that's not telling us what his mindset was, I don't know what is.
Then he goes on the stand and lies.
Yeah.
I mean, says she threw the pot at him. I mean, dude, we have the video.
Yeah.
She doesn't throw the pot at you. Come on.
Yeah, and Roland, what's so troubling about it to me is even worse than George Floyd. That was a call saying there was a criminal act. Here, she called the police. They knew there was no criminal activity.
Call the police believing there was a prowler.
Yeah, and she ends up dead. And it was so hard to sit in the courtroom and watch the video, even though I saw it 1,000 times, sitting in that courtroom, listening to his mother weep and his father talk under the breath while blood is pooling from her head. And I'm looking at those 11 white people and that brother, and I'm thinking, this is clear as day. This is straightforward. It doesn't get any simpler than this. So when they started deliberating for the second day, Roland, I said, oh, my God. Oh, my God. What were they deliberating between first and second degree murder, or was it second degree and an acquittal?
Right.
And I was reminded, Roland Martin, who the president is and what they think.
Listen, that was I'll never forget, it was either in Connecticut or Delaware. This brother had his hands up, he's going down to his knees, and the cop literally rears back and kicks him in his head and knocks him unconscious. On dash cam video, clear as day, hands up. Brother is not resisting. Go to court, he got acquitted. I mean, that's what we're still facing in this country is that there are juries, especially white juries, that are going to give cops every benefit of the doubt. And I still believe, and I've said this numerous times, one of the reasons that these police keep doing this because they know it's likely they can get away with it.
Exactly, Roland. And when you think about Sonya Massey in particular, you have to ask yourself, what was it, how they could justify his actions? I mean, the judge kept out the fact that he had been, fired or transferred for 6 jobs in 3.5 years. That didn't come in. And so you're saying, would that have made them say this guy should be convicted of first-degree murder? I was asked a question, and I said a funny lawyer joke, not to take away the seriousness of the issue. They said, well, Attorney Crump, this is the first time a cop has been convicted of second-degree murder for killing a black woman in American history. How do you think we get that? I said, it's simple. You have a first-degree murder case, and then the predominantly white jury will give you second-degree murder. And we don't take any of this for granted, Roland.
Right.
That's why I thank you, man. Most people have forgot about Sonya Massey. And if we didn't have black media, black social media saying her name, white mainstream media have forgot about it. It wasn't until the conviction they started covering it.
I had a woman come up to me last year thanking me for when I recite names for mentioning John Crawford.
Yeah.
John Crawford III.
Yeah.
And so, and that's the thing that what I keep also telling our people, and I'll have people who tell me, man, that stuff is triggering. And I keep saying, listen, I understand how you feel it's being triggering, but the reality is, I go back to what Emmett Till's mother said when she said, no, I want them to see what they did to my baby. The reality is, if we decide to stop showing it, then it becomes, it never happened.
Yep.
And the reason the body cam footage is so important, Grayson didn't turn his camera on.
No.
The only reason we know what happened, because his partner turned his camera
Officer
on.
Farley. And think about what his testimony was, Roland Martin. Officer Farley said that I pulled my gun because he pulled his gun. I never thought this small black woman was a threat. He said the person I feared was Grayson.
Right.
And none of that seemed to compel the jury to say this is first-degree murder.
And that's why what has to happen, and we talk about...
Can you imagine, Roland? Can you imagine if that was a white woman?
Oh, first of all, we ain't even having a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line, that's first degree. But here's the other thing. If that was a white woman, the partner would have said, man, what are you doing? See, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that is bothersome for me. In those moments, where does the cop with common sense go, man, holster your weapon.
Yeah.
Put the gun down. That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
But there's some case videos out there where a cop checks another cop, but it's rare. They will stand back and allow somebody to beat somebody knowing it's not right. Well, I didn't want to intervene. You got to intervene at the moment.
Yeah, and you know, Roland, that's deep what you say, and we've been covering these now for almost
13 years.
Yeah,
Trayvon was 2012.
Yeah, but you know, we covered a couple before that. You remember Martin Lee Anderson boot camp case?
Yep.
The reason why I think so many cops hesitate from intervening, because then they turn on them.
Yes.
I mean, you remember the sister up in Buffalo, New York?
Yep.
Stopped the cop for beating the black man, and then she got fired, lost her pension.
Yep.
I mean, it's, as they often say in the neighborhood, the baddest gang in town is the boys in blue.
Yep.
And so it all goes down to this here, Roland. We got to keep covering it, because we got to show up to that courtroom, show that judge that Sonya Massey life mattered, that she was loved, that her children deserve justice, and look him in his eye and dare him to do a downward departure, because that's what they're asking for.
We were here at a technology conference, and the reality is, if it's not for technology, if it's not for citizen cameras, if it's not for body cameras, we would have more cases of cops lying.
Yep.
Walter Scott.
Yes.
We would have cops lying on the reports.
George Floyd.
My life was in danger.
Yeah.
They pulled a weapon out.
Yep.
But because of technology, it's hard for them to counter. In Chicago, probably Laquan McDonald. The cops were breaking the dash cams, the antennas, because they did not want it recorded.
Yep.
And so that's what we know in New Orleans. I remember the case where the cop turns the camera off. Turns the camera off before he gets it, because he knew what he was about to do. And so, and I keep saying, the technology has to protect numerous folks.
Yeah, and Roland, it's deep, because you go down a rabbit hole. I think about technology, and I remember when George Floyd said, what was the difference between Rodney King and George Floyd? It was that the Apple iPhone camera got a lot better, and we got to see George Floyd vivid, graphically, firsthand. But then I'm so happy you brought up that we're at Afrotech. We got called, and I don't know whether it's a case or not, but I'm still going to fight, even if we don't make a dime. The young brother who the AI
bag of Doritos,
and they thought it was a gun, and then they go accost and throw him down. How many brothers and sisters are going to get wrongfully convicted because AI still has the human factor? Racism in, racism out.
Yeah.
So that's why we need Afrotech.
Yeah. So we have to be, we have to be absolutely vigilant in this. Not only that, with AI, it could claim You committed a crime when you didn't.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about criminal justice, social justice reform, it has to happen there. And so we can't afford a day off. We can't afford to say, man, let's just step away from it, because in the case, that brother could have lost his life over a bag of Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah, and Roland, that's why you're going to be so busy, brother, and I love you, man. You know that I tell you every time how much I respect you for having black-owned media that tell our stories unapologetically, because right now we're going through a wave of white supremacy that I've never seen, and just like they have beliefs in their white supremacy, we have to be unapologetic defenders of black life, black liberty, and black humanity. And that's what you do every day, every show, every location. So, man, keep that roll machine moving.
Yeah, you know we're going to do it. It's sitting right out there right now. I mean, it's a perfect example. Last point, I saw this the other day. I guess Jake Tapper was doing some interview claiming that, well, the reason Gen Z is more conservative is because they had BLM and Me Too being shoved down their throats. That's why they're more conservative. And I'm sitting there going, no, Jake, you got that wrong. What you don't understand is that if you are Gen Z, that means you between 13 and 25, that your parents did not like. I keep reminding these people, the Black Lives Matter protest was the first time in American history a black-centered protest a majority of Americans approved. And what happened was you had folks who did not like that young white folk, and Latinos and Asian Americans were responding, and they attacked BLM in 2021. It was CRT in 2022. It was woke in 2023, and it was DEI in 2024. And so they've been inundated by saying how awful that was. So I was like, Jake Tapper, you know what the hell you talking about? The reality is BLM woke a lot of people up. Trayvon woke a lot of people up. Jenna Six woke a lot of people up. But you have adults who do not want these young white kids to be socially conscious about what's happening to black bodies.
Now, you speak truth to power on so many levels, because right now it's just an outright declaration of war on everything black and brown in America. And what we have to remember is what Harriet Tubman said, Roland Martin. I saved 100 slaves, and I would have saved 100 more if they knew they were in slavery. Some people still don't understand. They have declared war on us.
Absolutely.
And we better be ready to fight. And if you scared, say you scared, and that's fine. We get it. But get out the way for those of us who ain't scared to go ahead and fight for our people.
Get the hell out the way.
Amen.
Well, Ben, you keep swinging. We're going to be right here doing the same.
All right, Alpha Man.
I appreciate it, sir.
All right, love you.
All right. Folks.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
Josh Cole became a pastor and delegate to serve his community. That's why Josh is fighting to lower costs for families hurting from inflation and make sure we can all afford quality health care. But Sean Steinway has embraced his MAGA backers who support Trump's mass firing of federal workers and the MAGA plan to ban abortion with no exceptions. We deserve better than Sean Steinway.
I'm Josh Cole, candidate for delegate, and I sponsored this ad.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count, investing in their future isn't a choice. In Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training. I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.